Everyone, it's Coach Tam, 100-pound weight loss success story and transformation coach based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tonight, I wanted to hop on and talk just for a few minutes about sugar. I've been talking to people that are looking to make a change and get started with one of our challenges in September. And one of the things that consistently comes up is I have an addiction to sugar. So if that's something that you are dealing with, or you know someone who is, you want to make sure that you pay attention to tonight's session. Go ahead and hit that share button and invite others to join you. So what you may not know about me is, even though I'll be celebrating my 10-year anniversary, welcome Tanya, of losing 100 pounds and keeping it off, I'm not afraid to admit I would say, an addiction to sugar. Yeah, I was that type of person that, had sweets every single day, sometimes a couple of times a day. I was also a big fan of those big gulp size sodas. Mountain Dew was my favorite. So I really had a lifestyle that was built around sugary foods. So as you can imagine, when I made the decision in January of 2008 that I really wanted to get serious, that I wanted to get, on your street, okay, I really wanted to get serious about losing weight, I knew that one of the things that I would have to address is my sugar addiction. But I also wanted to be real with myself and understand where I was, and not just in terms of the goals that I wanted to reach, but where was I mentally and emotionally? So let me be transparent. So for me, sugar was a bit of a mood lifter, right? So if things weren't going so well, it would be my pick-me-up. Or if I was running low on energy, sometimes you get to that point in the day. For me, it's typically around 2 or 3 o'clock p.m. And it's like, I need something to give me that pick-me-up. So sugar had become that thing for me. So it wasn't just, I am craving sugar and I want sugar. It was a habit. Sugar was a part of my lifestyle. So that's one of the things that we have to think about is, how far am I willing to go with this? Now, some people that are getting ready to start a challenge with us are going to do the keto challenge, where we really, really cut back on carbs and sugar, even fruit, right? So carbs are very, very low on the keto diet. But that's not the only way that you can be successful. So let me share with you what I did to get my sugar habit under control. So instead of saying I'm going to give up sweet things completely, I use something that I call the weaning method. So what it simply is saying that I'm not going to say I'm not going to have any sugar at all, but I am going to put some limits around how much sugar I have. So instead of getting 3 chocolate chip cookies a day, for example, that was real life for me, I would make a decision on something small that I wanted each day. So it could be, a few Hershey's Kisses. Peppermint patties used to be my thing back in the day. Welcome, Deborah. It also could be those little Debbie pinwheels. They're like 100 and something calories. So something very, very small that I could still have and look forward to each day. I know that may sound crazy for some people, but I needed that. So it was kind of my way of still being able to have sugar, but not completely wreck my diet, right? Hey there, Terry. So what I did was, instead of saying sugar is completely off limits, I controlled the portion size and I incorporated it into my plan, right? So I needed to make sure that it still worked, that the numbers still work. So I just added it in. So if that meant I had to cut back a little bit on my lunch or my dinner or give up a snack, I was willing to do that because I wanted to have just that little bit of sugar. Now, here's what happened. In the beginning, the first week, as you can imagine, was pretty tough because I was used to having a lot of sugar. Also, by the way, for those of you that like soda, what I did for that is my commitment was 1 12-ounce can of soda. And that was all that I could have. So I would have that at dinner. That was my exciting part of my day, right? So that's what I did. And the first week was really challenging because it's an adjustment. And again, my sugar addiction was a bit of a habit, right? But what happened over time is that it got better. So by the time I got to about the month mark, about week 4 or 5, I noticed that my cravings for sugar were considerably reduced. So I want to give you the hope that it can get better, but here's what I need you to do. All right, so here are your steps. First of all, you have to decide what your instead is. So that's essentially what I did. So I'm not going to have all the cookies and the cake and the ice cream. What is it that I am going to have? What is going to be my go-to? What are you going to have instead of what you normally eat? All right. And secondly, you've got to make sure that your instead is a reasonable portion size. So my recommendation is somewhere around that 100, 150 calorie mark, so that it's enough to give you that feeling of satisfaction, but it's not enough to wreck your diet. All right. And then thirdly, last but not least, you want to decide when you're going to have your instead. For me, I don't know why I'm this way, fam, but dinner is just so important to me. I like to end my day on a happy note. So I would have my instead after dinner. And I had that 12-ounce can of soda at dinner as well, because for some reason it was my reward for a really hard day. But that may not be what works for you. Maybe you want to have it earlier in the day, but decide when you are going to have your instead so that you know exactly when that's going to happen. You can look forward to it, you can savor it, and enjoy it. But here's the deal. Once you make this commitment to yourself, you have to stick to it. So if you say, I'm only going to have 1 peppermint patty a day, there's no 1.5 or 2. You really have to stick to that commitment if you want to see the sugar cravings reduce. And so over time, you gradually, that's where the name Weaning Method comes from, you gradually wean yourself off of sugar and are able to truly practice moderation. If this has been helpful to you, go ahead and give me a like so that I know that this was on your street and that it helped. And if you know someone that this might be able to help them kind of get their sugar addiction under control, feel free to go ahead and share. If you're looking for more tips, visit my website at www.265point.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Have a good evening. God bless.